Sifting through all the different advice on what to eat, what not to eat, how to move your body, how not to move your body, and how all of that impacts your lifespan could be several hundred episodes here on its own. And it's just stressful sometimes. But what if I told you that these two things alone are not enough to actually help you live longer and happier? It turns out that there is a secret ingredient to this that most of the time is ignored. Now, most of us live really fast-paced lives. And yet there is a topic that's close to us that's often undervalued in its importance, and that's friendship. Now, yes, you heard that right. Let's explore the power of relationships and why they might just be the secret ingredient to living a longer, happier life. Now, recently, I just finished reading a really fascinating article, and they were interviewing in this article best-selling author and a leadership expert named Simon Sinek. He stood up and brought this information to light at the 2024 Brilliant Minds Convention, where he actually called friendship the ultimate biohack. I was absolutely fascinated by his idea, and I decided to explore it further because I hadn't heard this before. Now, really, imagine that amidst all the complexities of modern health advice, there are two things that they tell you, which is diet and exercise, which can help you to live a longer life. They don't necessarily say happy. And it turns out that having good friends could actually be the key to living that happier and longer life. So, as I dug deeper into this idea that there was not a shortage on resources that I found on diet and exercise and longevity. But guess what? I guess I was surprised, kind of shocked that there was so much less information out there on this idea of friendships, relationships, or even being a better friend, which is crucial for dealing with stress, depression, and so much more, because we often talk about in this field belongingness and community. That's not to say there is no information on this, because I did find a really interesting study, one in particular. It's the Harvard study on adult development. I find it interesting because it is one of the longest running studies on human happiness. Essentially, this study has shown that positive relationships will keep us healthier and they will increase our lifespan. Now, that's a powerful statement coming from this study, and let me tell you why. Because this study has traced the lives of the subjects since 1938. So that's been going on quite some time. And if we needed more convincing, let's actually hear from the people who have lived the longest. There are a lot of people out there that study centenarians. Those are people over 100 years old. And I ran across some really interesting information. They interviewed two women, Shirley Hodes and Madeline Paldo. And they swear by the importance of close relationships. Now, Shirley is 106 years old, and she was emphasizing how crucial relationships are for keeping her going. And Madeline, she actually still meets up with friends every Sunday at her local Dunkin' Donuts. And she is at the ripe old age of 100. Okay, so yes, there is studies and data out there. There are testimonies from people that have lived to 100 or more. So the conversation around mental health and interpersonal relationships, such as the role of friendships and overall being, it's actually not as prominently featured in mainstream discussions. So this was what I ran across. I was definitely finding diet and exercise in mainstream discussions, but I wasn't finding friendships and those relationships. And I had to ask myself, why is that? So I dug deeper, and it turns out that several factors contribute to this disparity, particularly in the realm of social media trends, advertising focus, and just general conversations in the general public. Essentially, what are the conversations people are having? That's what I wanted to know. Because once I ran across that, I needed to understand that. And firstly, social media trends and algorithms tend to prioritize content that is either highly visual or generates quick, strong reactions. Physical health, fitness topics like weight loss, transformations, or some sort of fitness challenge are visually compelling because you can see the before, you can see the after, you can see the treatment, which would have been exercise or diet. So they're easily shareable, and they often come with measurable results. And so you can showcase that either in a post, a blog, a video. Mental health discussions, while increasingly common, often involved more nuanced personal stories that might not generate the same level of engagement, or they're not as straightforward to portray visually. So you can't tell someone, yes, I did this for 30 days. Maybe you're doing personal affirmations. Maybe you made a friend and you say, I feel so much better. But how do I visually display that? So this can result in these topics receiving less attention from both content creators known for chasing viral trends, perhaps, and from platforms that prioritize content likely to increase user engagement. Secondly, I ran across with the advertising. Advertisers play a really huge role in shaping content. Wellness industries, including fitness equipment companies and health food brands, they have clear, tangible products to market. And that aligns extremely well with the visual and direct nature of most advertising. So these industries are spending a lot of money on marketing campaigns that will promote a direct link between their products and personal health improvement. And you're going to be able to see it visually, right? Like I told you, the before and after, and the treatment there would be either using their product, exercise, whatever food, they may be consuming. In contrast, the benefits of friendship and good mental health practices are less directly monetizable, if you will, and usually they don't tie back, as clearly to specific products, making them less attractive from an advertising perspective. As a result, there's less financial incentive to push these as primary content themes. Okay. Finally, because I dug deeper, there is a historical context to consider here. Physical health has long been a public health focus, so there are clear guidelines and widespread public health initiatives. Mental health, on the other hand, in this case, mental health discussions, despite, now I want to say we have had significant progress in recent decades, it still faces a societal stigma, and it often requires deeper, more personal conversations that many of us are just simply not comfortable having with ourselves, much less in public or online spaces. And so this discomfort will extend to major media It will extend to content platforms where these types of discussions can be seen as less universally relatable, or this is what we run in a lot because I have to be careful with my own content that I put out. It can be too sensitive compared to the universally more accepted and promoted themes of physical fitness and diet. So together, these elements contribute to a landscape where discussions about the importance of friendships and discussions on mental health, or the two together, are overshadowed by more commercially appealing and visually engaging content that's focused on physical health and wellness. And physical health and wellness usually does include some type of nutritional component to it. So what you're eating, what you're not eating. And then let's not forget, there is a lot going on in the world around us, usually always, but especially right now. So when you look at it from the global context and personal hardships that are happening significantly right now, they're influencing the receptiveness to these discussions about friendship and positivity. So in a world that is rife, there are tons of challenges ranging from economic struggles, political unrest to personal mental crisis. The concept of friendship, as essential as it is, can sometimes feel disconnected from the immediate concerns of those who are suffering from those things. For many, the daily grind and the burden of stressors can overshadow the perceived benefits of nurturing friendships. The relentless influx of negative news and the pervasive discourse of survival and conflict might make conversations about positivity and friendship seem trivial or out of touch with reality, with what's really going on in the world. So this can lead to confusion, and people either consciously or subconsciously then begin to shy away from engaging in or valuing these types of discussions, as the immediate payoff doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem tangible or important as solving their more pressing problems. Maybe financially they're suffering. They're trying to put food on the table. There's a lot that could be going on. Maybe they need a job, got laid off. And furthermore, the digital and media landscapes will often amplify negative events, which can perpetuate this cycle that they're feeling of despair, and then they feel detached. So in this type of environment, content that focuses on positive interpersonal relationships like friendships might not resonate as strongly, or people just don't feel that it's relevant right now because they're in the struggle. Okay. And that's understandable. We can all understand that. Now, social media platforms that are designed to capture and retain attention, and that's what they are, they will frequently feature content that invokes really strong emotional responses. And that will often lean more toward people that are experiencing these types of struggle and sympathy that we have, rather than the softer, more sustaining positive feelings that are often associated with positive relationships. Now, obviously, not every relationship can be positive, or even friendship. Now, as people navigate through those streams of content, there is an overwhelming presence of negativity that could endanger a kind of, well, could perpetuate, I will say, a kind of emotional fatigue. So it could make people less likely to seek out or respond to positivity. Now, this situation can create a cultural sort of phenomena, if you will, in which critical but less sensational topics, such as the importance of maintaining healthy relationships, friendships, tend to be underemphasized. So it will leave many people without the insights that they need to recognize or foster these vital connections, because, as I told you, it's been demonstrated that, this is a missing secret ingredient to longevity and happiness. So how do we prioritize then, after all that, how do we prioritize friendships in our busy lives and all the other stuff that's going on? I could tell you to start smiling more or be kind to each other, and that's what I ran across in the research. But I am talking about friendships here, either reconnecting with the ones that you have or making new ones. So let's make it make sense and be relatable. Prioritizing friendships in our busy lives can feel like a huge task, considering everything else we have going on and all our daily responsibilities, daily hassles we run across, etc. However, the significance of maintaining and forming new friendships as adults cannot be overstated. It plays a crucial role in our emotional and psychological health. So I'm going to tell you that reconnecting with old friends or making new friends is going to require you to have some intentional actions. It's more than just exchanging a smile or pleasantries, right? One practical step that you can do is to set aside regular time for friendships. Seems easy, but this might mean that you have to actually schedule in weekly or monthly catch-ups, whether in person or maybe you want to do it over the phone, however you do it. Just as you might block out time for going to the gym or some sort of work meeting, you need to do the same thing to maintain your relationships, your friendships. This consistent effort will help you keep or forge or rekindle the bonds, those strong bonds, and ensure that your friendships don't fall by the wayside because life got in the way or because you neglected it. Now, on the subject of making new friends as an adult can be difficult. It's not like you can just go to the playground like the kids can. So let's approach it with a simple yet effective, a few strategies. I will tell you that if you joining a gym sometimes can help, because you can find people there with the same interest, or joining some sort of group that aligns with your interest. That's a good start. You could also start a book club or join a book club. You could start a local cooking class or join a cooking class if that's what you're interested in. Maybe you're interested in gardening, so there could be some sort of project for that. These activities provide natural gathering points for like-minded individuals. And here are some common, because I know a lot of people are nervous about what we call those ice-breaking moments when you're making new friends. But here are some common ones. Those are some common ones that you can do that can help you sort of break those kind of awkward moments. Just by joining clubs or clubs of people that have the same interest. Another approach could be volunteering. So you can also do that. That will enlarge your social circle, and it can also enrich your life because now you're volunteering. So you're doing something else with purpose and hopefully having some satisfaction from it. So it can enhance the quality of those friendships. So I'll say this, make sure the friendships have quality. And I'm going to include even people that are introverted. the concept of friendship can still hold immense value. Introverts may not seek large social circles, so that may seem daunting to you. But you still desire those relationships, and they can be profoundly satisfying. So for someone who is more reserved, starting small, you could start small by fostering one friendship. That could be enough. Someone you find it works, maybe you at the gym, maybe a laundromat. I don't know, but introvert wherever you frequent, right? So don't think just because you're an introvert or shy, you can't thrive in these relationships, because you still need those meaningful relationships. Utilizing online platforms can be another space for you, because people can connect there over shared passions. It can be less intimidating for people that are shy or more introverted. And it can also serve as a stepping stone to more in-person interactions, perhaps in the future. Just make sure you're practicing online safety, of course. But remember, the quality of friendships often trumps quantity. So even if you just have one, okay, especially as you navigate the complexities of adult life. In all, friendships are a cornerstone of adult life. They don't stop just because you've grown into an adult. They're probably even more important, because they provide support, they provide joy, they provide a sense of belonging. They're going to increase your lifespan. You're going to have more happiness. By intentionally making time for those relationships and engaging in activities that foster those meaningful interactions, you're going to basically make sure, you are going to ensure that your social life is active and it's enriching. This episode has been about understanding that while it's easy to get caught up in the physical aspects of health and diet when you're searching ways to live a longer, healthier life, because you want to carve out a few more years, let's not forget the emotional and social need, because this really is the secret ingredient. And running across this information really reminds me, and I hope that it reminds you, of the profound impact of our social connections with one another, and the effect it has and the impact it has on our overall well-being. As we continue on our path, let's consider how we can nurture our friendships, not just for the sake of longevity, but for a richer, more fulfilling life, and a happier one at that. Thanks for tuning in today. Until we meet again, take care of your mind, body, and soul.